Stated at the beginning that the world is full of gems. We have another gem with us, Steve Mathew, a first-year junior college student of biomaths at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Vidya Mandir, Thrissur, Kerala. He is a voracious reader and loves games and sports too. He also added feathers in his cap by winning prizes in quiz, writing competitions.
To shed light, a candle must be lit. To evoke a transformation, you must transform. Transformation from within is a talk focusing on this concept. Transformation within means a transformation in your mental health, an idea almost completely neglected by us. So here we have Steve to enlighten us.
No, I'll do that.
Have you ever felt stressed, anxious, or maybe even lost? I have, and you must have too. About half the adults and teens in India were suffering from increased levels of stress and anxiety. Let's go back in time, back to the late 1940s. Many of our grandparents were still children. They had to traverse through things that are even hard to imagine. Now, they tell stories about their hard lives and the hardships they had to face every day. Let's move on. Let's skip a few years and go to 1970s and 80s. They had their fair share of troubles. They had to deal with a lot of things that we didn't have to. They didn't have the privileges that we had. Remember your mom and dad telling how they had to go to school by crossing the Ganga and climbing Mount Everest? All these people faced a lot of problems in their lives, but very few had issues with their mental health. How many of you know what mental health means? Good, you may put your hands down. I'll define it for you. Mental health is a state of mental well-being that allows people to cope with the stresses of life, work well, learn well, and contribute to the community. It is an integral part of our well-being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions and transform the world. We've all been sick, haven't we? Yeah, the same thing can happen with mental health. Mental health conditions include mental disorders and mental states associated with stress and anxiety. Let me ask you a question. What images come to your mind when you hear mental illness? Maybe this, or even this. But let me tell you, a fairly normal-looking person might be suffering from mental illness. Many mental illnesses are not prominent outside. About 57 lakh cases of depression has been reported in India, and a bigger number goes unreported. The new generation has seen a drastic increase in mental health issues. Why do you think this is so? Factors affecting mental health. Now, today we'll be discussing a few major facts that are the causes of this mental health issues. First being constantly connected. Technology is great. It connects us with people far away and gives insight to their lives just by scrolling through our phones. But sometimes we see the so-called perfect individuals and feel inadequate. Sometimes we see people in devastating conditions and worry on their behalf. In a world where we ourselves have a lot of worries, this affects us drastically. Doing too much. It's no surprise that we live in a competitive community. Getting a job or getting into college is way harder than it used to be. As the population is increasing, opportunities for jobs and opportunities to get into college is getting slimmer and slimmer. This makes us work twice as hard. Moreover, having mandatory classes of dance, music, and sports after a long, exhausting day of school or work is just too much. Don't force anything on yourself. You may lose your passion. Relationships. Parents undergo a lot of parenting stress, managing difficult jobs, Doing the household chores and raising children is sometimes very stressful. Some parents let this stress on their kids. Some parents will be tyrannical, unreasonable, and negative to their children. This in turn affects the children. In a relationship, one member can pass his or stress or anxiety to the other members. So always be aware of the relationships you get yourself into. Environmental changes. Pollution plays a major role in affecting our mental health. Air pollution degrades our physical health. Noise pollution devoids us of our peaceful mind and our time to think. All the towns and cities nowadays are filled with bright billboards and flashy posters and flyers. This acts as stimulants and makes our mind distracted. This, in turn, makes us feel stressed out. This is something we expected to be here, didn't we? I think the children agree. About 64% of all Indian students reported stress due to academics. This tells us something. There is a major flaw in our education system. Schools focus too much on grades and not acknowledge overall growth. Teachers who consciously or subconsciously hurt the students' feelings add to this prevailing condition. Back home, parents may do the same. By pressuring kids to their utmost limit and not being reasonable to them or listening to them, this makes the students feel stressed out. Now, let's go back to the question that I asked you earlier. What causes the increase in mental health issues in the new generation? Has your answer changed, or does it remain the same? Now that we know the problems, let's find something else. What? Remedies. First, unplug from your smartphones. Sitting on your phone all day and scrolling through it and worrying for others won't make a change. Use that time for something productive. Maybe a stress-relieving activity. But there are harmful stress-relieving activities. Some which gives pleasure or relief for a few moments, but leaves the person in shambles. Some such kind of harmful stress-relieving activities are drugs and alcohols, which is very much prominent in our community today. And some other, which we usually skip over, are overeating, spending too much screen time, and withdrawing from social activities. This all has ill effects on your mental health. Change in attitude and approach. This applies to teachers, parents, students, and children. Teachers and parents should be reasonable and understanding towards students and children. They are from a different era than you are. The methods that work for you might not work for them. You should be reasonable to your children. Parents, comparing your children to others, mocking them, or verbally stating that you give up on them are some of the worst things a child can hear. Don't do that. Each and every child is capable and potential of doing everything. A better education system. I told you before, our education system needs improvement. There's a lot of space for improvement. I'm not saying it's bad, it's good, but there need to be a lot of better education systems. The time we're living now is filled with troubles, worries, and our anxiety levels are through the roof. But we need to understand something. The new generation is different. Each and every one of them is a genius. They have an ingenious idea within them. It's our job to work together and bring these ideas out. When we work together with these kids, a transformational idea comes out. Don't focus on their weaknesses. Focus on their strength. The world so desperately needs a transformation, and may that transformation begin with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now may I request Principal Sir to hand over the memento to Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do well, huh?
Thank you, Principal Sir and Steve. Now may I request Anand Sir to please have an interaction with Steve.
Hey Steve, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine.
All right, all the way from Thrissur, I was just having a discussion with Principal Sir, Mr. Amitav Ghosh, about the level of effort that your parents and your school have put into you coming all the way to Raipur to be a part of this forum. So, big round of applause.
Thank you.
Is your father or mother in the
Yes,
audience?
my dad's there.
So please give him a huge round of applause as well, please. It's not the easiest thing to be coming all the way down from Thrissur to Raipur. And you've delivered a wonderful talk. I think it's inspiring. One of the things that I was noticing, and I happened to notice before everything started off, is a little bit of audience engagement you did while the mic testing process was on. So you definitely seem to be a natural at this, and I hope that you keep this going.
Thank you.
Let's come to your talk. Talking about mental health, right? It's a very sensitive issue.
Yes.
It is an issue that deserves a lot more importance and awareness than it receives as of today. My question is, a lot of us keep talking about mental health, and obviously when we are in school, we probably don't understand the complexities associated with it. What is it that got you to really come down to this kind of a talk and spread this idea? Because mental health is not something that we'd expect the everyday student in a school to be talking about. So what is it that got you interested in this conversation?
Well, there's a lot of stigma around mental health. Many of the parents and teachers think that mental health is something that they shouldn't be worried about. Kids face a lot of mental health issues, and parents don't understand that. Kids are very good at hiding things. And dear, yes, kids are very good at hiding things.
How many of you keep secrets?
Oh, there's a lot of kids, naughty kids. So they hide all the issues they have, and this add up and leads to very bad problems. The outcome can sometimes be very terrible. And I thought I should speak this out in front of such a large audience. This should be acknowledged everywhere. And I think schools should do a lot more to prevent mental health disorders.
I'd like to ask you a sensitive question, and I'm sorry if these questions are rather sensitive, but you've chosen a topic of that sort.
Yeah, that's fine.
In and around you, in your school or in your vicinity, how many children of your age or young adults of your age do you see who suffer from mental health issues that aren't addressed or aren't even accepted for that matter?
Way more than we think. A lot of my friends have mental issues, but they don't understand it, nor do their parents. When we see them sitting at the corner and having a talk to themselves, we understand something's wrong. But other people say that they're playing. No, it should be addressed. Some kids don't understand they have mental issues, and they carry on with their lives trying to be something other than themselves. And this should be addressed. A lot of kids in my school, the people who I interact with, even adults I've seen, have been dealing with mental health issues.
I'm sure, and it's something that all of us need to pay attention to. We need to find ways to deal with different issues that we face.
Yes.
And I'm glad, Steve, that you have shed light on this from a young adult's perspective.
Yes.
Talking about mental health, another thing that comes to mind is we had this pandemic, which was very unfortunate in the history of the world. 2 years, I don't know where they went actually, but post the pandemic, there have been a lot of changes. A lot of people have faced these kinds of issues.
Yes.
What are the things that you think people have done to tackle these in schools, or things that you've seen that are positive?
Isolation due to the pandemic
Yes,
caused
yes.
a lot of problems.
Yes, absolutely.
So I see when they came to school, they start to interact with people more. I haven't seen this. Boys and girls all interact a lot more with each other. I think they were desperate for social activities. So I can see, currently this year, I can see a lot of improvement in kids. Those who came in shy, who were sad all the time, and who had a bad look on their face, are now turning out to be more cheerful. And I think the social activity is one of the greatest things that can help to overcome this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve. Any parting words for this young audience of grades 6 to 8 in Raipur that you would like to share?
If you have some problems, don't worry, speak out. Speak to your parents or your teachers or somebody you trust. Always have a good mindset. Things may go bad, but at the last, everything will turn out fine.
All right, what a fine young man you are, Steve. Wish him all the very best. In fact, I would like to take the liberty. Sir, if you could please join us on stage as well. Please, sir. Please, sir. Would like to take this effort as well. I've taken liberty to do this, sir. But I think both father and son deserve a good round of applause. Fact is, giving a speech of this sort is an arduous task. Coming from another geography, as a student to prepare for this speech is an even more arduous task, which is not possible without the support of the school, without the support of the parents, and of course without the support of a school like BVB Raipur, which has opened out applications for TEDx speakers to schools all across the entire Bhavan's fraternity. So I'm very glad, sir, that you had the vision to do this, which has allowed for ideas to germinate and come from all across the country. And it has resulted in an individual like Steve joining us today as well. So a big round of applause for sir and your school. It's not something that every school is, very generous to do, because at the end of the day, we always think of giving opportunities within. Sir has decided to define the word within as a much larger thing. So well done, sir, and well done to the school. Sir, if you'd like to share a few words, we'd be very grateful, sir, about this experience and otherwise.
It was really a wonderful and great experience for me, and I consider it is really a privilege to come and join this great event. I am grateful to you all, especially Principal Sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Steve. We shall be seeing you very soon, I suppose. All right.
Hopefully.
Take care. Yes, bye-bye.